Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here in the Overflow Room Annex, where we're talking about lots of books. Books on music and musicians and history and all of that juicy stuff. God, I love this stuff. I just love it. It's so fascinating. There's a lot of value in reading about things back in like the old-fashioned way. I never in my life thought when I grew up I would be doing videos. I was a writer, and I thought I would be writing. And I wrote 16 books. I mean, some of my own. Maybe some of my own are in here. I don't think so. I think they're all over there somewhere. But, oh boy, books are such wonderful things. They really are. My good friend in Germany, in Munich, Dr. Meyer Eller, who sometimes joins me for little videos. He has to be dragged, kicking and screaming to do it, but I make him do it. When he was here last, we went into New Haven to Yale, to the Beinecke Rare Book Library. And he's a serious book guy. His father was a huge book collector. He had the complete Goethe and all that stuff. And, I couldn't get him out. He wanted to live there. He was moving in immediately. If you haven't been to the Beinecke Rare Book Library at Yale University, go. It is one of the most fabulous things you'll ever see in your life. It's a building that's, designed with a central, climate-controlled core for all the manuscripts. And it goes up like 3 or 4 stories that way. But the building itself is made of translucent marble. So it has no windows in the upper areas, just these large panes of marble, and the sun shines through them and illuminates the interior. And it just makes you, it makes you gasp at the wondrous creations of Western civilization, and it's very necessary, especially, I think, in these days, to remember that there was and is a Western civilization, and it did amazing things, and those amazing things, a lot of them are on display at the Beinecke Rare Book Library at Yale. So, New Haven, Connecticut, go have a look. It's really worth seeing. Anyway, we got 3 books here. 3 books. Schoenberg by Charles Rosen, the smartest guy in the room. Just ask him. His books are really very good. I love this little Schoenberg book because it's a little Schoenberg book. If you think, it's very sophisticated, don't get me wrong. It requires a certain level of musical, masochism in order to get into it. But it's only like 100 pages, not much more, 110 pages with the index and everything, which is great. It's a great way to get to know Schoenberg because you want it to be reasonably easy and brief. You don't want to have to make yourself crazy. The music is going to do that anyway. So why make yourself crazy twice, right? And it's so lucidly written, this book. It's got, the chapter titles are Expressionism, Atonality, The Society for the Private Performance of Music, Serialism, and Neoclassicism. That's it. That's Schoenberg in a nutshell. And it's a wonderful way to get to know him a little better, and it's very non-threatening. So, it's intelligent, sophisticated, and all that stuff. But yes, it's really a great way to get into it if you're, feeling incredibly guilty that you haven't gotten into it yet. Then we've got Brahms. Oh, more Brahms. Robert Pascal. This is a collection, designed as part of the celebrations of the 150th anniversary of Brahms' birth. The book contains essays by distinguished American, British, and German scholars who each make fresh contributions to knowledge about Brahms. Yes, well, of course it's about Brahms. Let's see, what have we got? The individual studies include a survey of Brahms' cultural world, accounts of his interest in early choral music and in the music of Mozart, a general description of the difficulties of editing his music, a survey of his symphonic output, detailed studies of his tragic overture, Fourth Symphony, Fantasies, Opus 116, the song Vorüber, Opus 58, number 7, and the 4 serious songs. So if those pieces interest you, you may be interested in this. Robert Pascal was the editor. And like I've said before, I'm just glancing through this as we talk, I love essay collections because essays are short, You don't have to devote yourself to just gobs and gobs and gobs of time in a linear narrative. You can do things topically. And that is just a gift. I mean, some of the scholars here, Michael Musgrave, Virginia Hancock, Imogen Fellinger, Robert Pascal, George Bozarth, James Webster, who's very, very famous. He's done some major Haydn stuff. Siegfried Cross, David Osmond Smith, Jonathan Dunsby, and Arnold Whittle. So there you go. I mean, that's very simple. If those topics interest you, then this is a very interesting study. Robert Pascal's assembled a lovely collection of essays. So that's worth looking at. And then, here's some fun. Dvorak. Dvorak, Letters and Reminiscences, put together by Ottokar Surek, who's one of the major Dvorak scholars. This is one of those reprint things. How I got it, I don't know, because it's done by some anonymous company, and this book may have occasional imperfections. Yeah, it's for sure. No, it's a reprint, and they have his letters to Hans von Bülow, and look at this, Václav Tálek. Here he goes. Yes, Dvorak has his roots in the life of the Czech countryside. He has a complete command of the craft technique of his time, and even goes beyond it. Here I am thinking of Brahms, and it's true. Oh, so true. Yeah, but he fills the form with the spirit of his country, and that is what, in my opinion, made Antonin Dvorak a world figure in music. There is only one way to interest the world in our culture, and that is to acquire a mastery of all the technical possibilities of the day, but at the same time, never to forget to speak good Czech. Antonin Dvorak, in this respect, is in this respect a quite remarkable example. Oh yeah, that just says it, doesn't it? So there are the letters between Dvorak and Brahms. This is wonderful. When Dvorak dedicates the D minor string quartet to Brahms, it's the 11th one. He says, "Honored Master, about 3 weeks ago I set out on my intended journey to Vienna in order to thank you personally for all the kindness you have shown me. I was very sorry that I was not fortunate enough to see you before you left for Leipzig. I took the opportunity to visit Professor Hanslick, who received me very cordially. At his request, I left a number of my compositions with your housekeeper." Yeah, okay. "And beg you, if you are already back in Vienna, to be so good as to look them through. At the same time, I take the liberty of inquiring whether you received the duets with the German translation, and whether it is good." This is in 1878, by the way, when Dvorak was just getting recognized, and Brahms had been so helpful in achieving that. "Mr. Simrock," that's the music publisher, "wrote me a few days ago. He will be pleased to publish the duets, only a number of places must be changed for the sake of declamation," in German. "I have further the honor to inform you that your splendid D minor concerto was performed at a concert given recently here in Prague, and was extremely successful. And now I venture, highly honored master," which I love the way people spoke to each other then, "to approach you with a request. Permit me, out of gratitude and a deep respect for your incomparable musical works, to offer you the dedication of my D minor quartet. It would be for me the highest honor I can aspire to, and I should be the happiest of men to have the honor to subscribe myself as bound to you in eternal gratitude, and your devoted servant, Antonin Dvorak." There you go. Then Brahms writes back, "Dear Sir, I regret extremely that I was away from home when you were here. The more so as I have such an aversion to letter writing that I cannot hope to make up for it in the least by correspondence. And today, no more than to say that to occupy myself with your things gives me the greatest pleasure, but that I would have a good deal to be able to discuss individual points with you personally. You write somewhat hurriedly." This is so Brahmsian. "When you are filling in the numerous missing sharps, flats, and naturals, then it would be good to look a little more closely at the notes themselves and the voice parts, etc. Forgive me, but it is very desirable to point out such things to a man like you. I also accept the works just as they are, very gratefully, and consider myself honored by the dedication of the quartet. I think it would be very good if you gave me both the quartets that I know. If Simrock should not be willing, might I try to place them elsewhere? Accept once more my best thanks for your news, and warm greetings from your entirely devoted J. Brahms." It's great. Great stuff. So yes, Antonin Dvořák, Letters and Reminiscences, edited by Otakar Surek. There he is. Otakar Surek. If you can find it, this is a reprint. So it's probably buzzing around out there under various, reprint, public domain publishing things where they do print on demand stuff. There's tons of interesting material in this little book. And it will keep you occupied, especially if you're sitting on the toilet for a long time. It's perfect toilet reading because you can break it up into however much, whatever length suits you, given your individual session needs. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks so much for joining me. Take care.